Hi, hello. I hope you really like knitwear and crochet because this is what this video is all about. Basically in this video I will be going through the runway shows, specifically the New York Fashion Week ones that happened a little while ago. I did want to make this up to date, but I just didn't manage to film this earlier, and I will be talking about exclusively the knits, crochets, any kind of fiber art that is in the runway. I think it's nice for inspiration. A lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are things that we can make ourselves. By the way, my name is Carolina. This is Carolina's Closet. Welcome. I do a lot of DIY stuff. This orange top that I'm wearing is an example. I made it in my last video. You should go watch if you want to make something like this for yourself. But I will be just talking here about the high fashion knitwear and crochet. This video was already filmed. It's actually part 2. Part 1 was posted last week and it was too long, so I split it in 2. But I want to start off with this brand that was mentioned to me in the last video that I posted that I actually skipped. I just did not see them. A brand called Diotima, and oh my god, they're so good. So their whole collection is really nice, but I'll talk about just the crochets and knits. And I'll start off with this like big long matching set. It's like a long blouse with a long skirt, a lot of fringe. It looks to me like a macrame stitch done with like a silky thread. You know, swimwear or like swim attire fabric, that kind of lycra-y kind of thing, but cut into strips, because you have to be very careful with fringe. If you do fringe with the yarn that we usually use for crochet or knit, anything that's twisted and you do a fringe with it, it will crumple up on the washing machine. This really does feel like that swimwear kind of material, and I think this is really nice. It looks really, really beautiful. I love it. I also love her necklace. Next, oh my god, this is so beautiful. This sculptural approach to like crochet. This looks like crochet to me. Yeah, it looks like they did some doilies and like a very open crochet, like a thicker hook with like a smaller yarn kind of thing. This yarn, it has that vibe of like more of like a craft material, like a jute or something like a bit more on those lines, like stiff fabric, or it's a normal yarn that they like dipped in resin or something. Maybe the cord itself has been waxed. You know, like there are a lot of practices in fiber art. I know people who bookbind do this. They will wax the yarn, the thread, and then they will use it because it is very stiff. It was made stiff somehow, and I think this is beautiful. Chef's kiss. I really like it. Next one, we have a nice coat that has a little cutoff, which is really beautiful the way that they did this pattern. Like they made it to fit this doily. This doily looks to me like it was done in crochet. And you can see like it's really well finished. It's probably like double layered, and it has like the darts. And it makes almost like a sun shape, but the darts are probably there to make the structure like they needed to. It's really well fitted, and I love when brands and people just mix mediums. Like you usually wouldn't do like a coat, like a very tailored piece of garment with a little bit of fiber arts in it, and I love when that's done, and it's done so beautifully. I do personally like when designers do something in the hips that kind of makes that hourglass shape, but without like having to modify the body or things like that. Just like from visual interest, make the body look hourglass. I think this is really nice. Also underneath she is wearing I think it's either a skirt or a dress, but it's probably a skirt that is done in crochet. For me, it looks like chain stitches. They made a mesh with just chain stitches, and I think it's probably a yarn similar to the last look. They do look very stiff to me, but it is a layering piece. I really like it. This is a beaded dress. It is a dress that is made out of beads. It's probably like fishing wire, and they do the beads and they create the like diamond shapes. It's a motif that you can do when making things out of bead. And I think it looks really nice. There is a thread coming out of the sleeve though, but this looks beautiful. It's something to be worn like on top of things. I think you can wear it on top of a bikini or something, or just like a mini dress like she's wearing. I think it's nice that it's black and like beige, because you can wear it on top of a bunch of different colors. It's very neutral. Oh, this is so nice. They have, again, with like the bringing the mixed medium, this is a very nice shirt. It's really well, probably really well patterned. They have like a bunch of pleats, even in the sleeve, like there's pleats here on the armhole, which I'm sure is really hard to do. And then on the sleeves, they come up with these like ruffles of this kind of doily like motif that they made. I feel like it is crochet. It is very similar to the one that they did in the skirt. I think this is beautiful. It brings a lot of interest. I like that mixed media. I really like to bring this to the like DIY sphere. Like you could totally thrift or get a shirt that you don't wear, or like someone in your family has and doesn't wear, and crochet a couple of ruffles. These are very big ruffles, and add them to the sleeves of your shirt. I think this is really nice, inspirational. And then we have another one. This, to me, I love the craftsmanship that went into it. This is very thin yarn, tiny hook, and if you know me, I love that. I'm a appreciator of the tiny hook, tiny yarn work. I think it's more intricate, especially if you're making clothing. So this, to me, looks really beautiful. However, I think this is like that mixed line that can happen with crochet, where it looks too much like a tablecloth that they thrifted and made it into a top, which there's nothing wrong with it. It has a very beautiful like visual interest. I think it's beautiful. It fits the model really well. There's a study made to it, like the colors they match. There's like a strap that is not in crochet, which I always think is nice. I usually make my straps when I'm doing crochet. I usually do my straps in crochet as well, but sometimes they can get a little bit floppy and not too sturdy. So I like when straps of tops are made in non-crochet. This like crochet lace, for me, it is like a tablecloth kind of thing. That's all I can think about when I look at this design specifically. That doesn't mean it's bad. I genuinely think it's so beautiful, and there's so much craftsmanship. Same thing with this one. It is beautiful, but it does give me that tablecloth vibe, especially with this look. That other one, not so much, but this one just looks like they had this casual fit, and then they were like, oh, I need something, and then they just through this. It is beautiful. It is a doily lace done in crochet. It is beautiful. It's intricate. If you crochet, you know that this probably took a lot of time to make. For me, it just doesn't scream clothing though. It screams like wall piece, tablecloth, something like that, that I didn't see in the other ones. The first few, it was more thought out as clothing. This one just looks like I don't think it is as cohesive as the last ones. I don't know if this is supposed to be a bag. I don't know. Maybe, I think it's a hat, which it feels like it was done in the same way that the second look that we saw, with this like more stiff yarn, or yarn made stiff. I think this is a hat, and I want to see it in her head because it looks beautiful, but in the photo it looks like a purse. But it's not a purse, I don't think. So I kind of want to see it in her head because I think it would look really beautiful. I want to see this hat on. I think it's yum, but I need to see it on the head. This shirt looks amazing. The shirt had these slits done, and then they came in with a yarn, a thread, and this motif. It does look to me like the kind of motif that I made when I learned how to do Romanian point lace. So it could be that, or it could be a kind of trim that you buy pre-woven and apply to the top. Regardless, I think it's beautiful. I love details like this. The clothing that is kind of a basic, but it's so elevated. I love it. Also, the bag. Here it is a bag. I think it's nice. I don't know how practical it is. I don't know if it's lined. I don't think it is. It is a bag, though, I think. Here, this is beautiful. I think this is a crocheted piece. Crochet cannot be done by machine, But there are a few mesh yarn work that is done by machine that is not crochet but looks like crochet. And sometimes when pieces are long like this, I tend to think they were made in a machine and they just look like crochet, but if you were to get the piece and touch it, you would see that it's not crochet. But I don't know if that's the case here. It just, I always, when the pieces are really long, I kind of think that because I know that the time that you would need to make something handmade, hand crochet like this, even though it's an open mesh, still a lot of time. And brands need to make multiple because they need to sell a few. And also the joints in the shoulder, the gaps that they left to join the shoulder seams look like they're too much. I think that if they were handmade, they would have left a little less of a gap here. So I don't know if it's crochet or if it's a fabric that imitates crochet done in a machine. Either way, I think it's beautiful. Ooh, see, I like this one better. I know it's pretty much the same motif, the same kind of doily lace crochet that we've had in two looks that I wasn't quite sure about. But in here, I think it makes sense. I think that because it's a skirt, because of the styling maybe, I think it matches more the shape. Maybe it's just a style thing, a personal style thing for myself. I love how the skirt looks here. It still does remind me of a tablecloth, but maybe I just have that image in my head. But I think it looks really, really beautiful. And this top, I think, is almost like what I'm wearing, a mesh done in crochet with the beads added to it. I think it's beautiful. It gives a lot of textural interest, the shine that the beads bring, like the color and color. Because here I clearly did orange with white, so you can clearly see the pearls. But here in hers, the thread is black and the beads are black, but the texture and the shine that the beads bring are lovely. And then they have a nice little ribbed neckline, and I love that. Honestly, there are a lot of knitwear that is done to not have the ribbed finishing. They just have it roll in, and that's not my particular style. I don't love that, so I really like it. The finishing, I love this look so much. Ooh, these ones, man, they're beautiful. Unfortunately, practically, I don't know where they would be worn because I think this is too beautiful, probably too expensive to just kind of wear it to the beach. Maybe too risque to wear it to the gala. I don't know who's going to the gala. I'm not, but oh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I think they just probably do a lot of these doilies and they just kind of drape in and then they continue. They go from there. Maybe they have these two big ones that are in her breasts and a couple in the rest of the body. Then from there, they build the rest of the weave, the rest of the crochet, and they kind of join it individually. I think this is beautifully done. I love it. It's probably that stiffer yarn as well. Maybe I keep thinking that they probably waxed it, but I have no idea. Another beaded look. Oh my god, this is beautiful. It's actually a two-piece. I know that this takes time, and if you watch this video, you know it takes a little while to make these. I don't know how many they do have to make in order to like fulfill their customers. I don't know if they're like, because they are ready to wear, they're not made to order, so I don't know, but this takes time. It's probably, I hope their artisans are well paid. I always say that. This is an artisanal work with the beads, and it's such a big look, but I love it. I love these beads that they have. This one is another one. I know that there is a crochet stitch that looks like this, so this could be crochet, but it does remind me a lot of macrame. Because they have like a little bead on the top and then they have the fringe, I do really feel like this is woven in-house or something. But I'm sure that this kind of open weave, there are fabrics that are pre-done industrially like this, but they wouldn't like add the little bead and let the fringe fall, I don't think. And another one with the beads. Oh, this is so nice. And these are the tinier beads. I like it a lot. It's a nice layering piece. You can wear it on top of anything. Just give some visual interest. You add the beads to the string and then you do the motifs. If you have more basics in your wardrobe and you just prefer wearing basics and then just putting something like this on top, makes your look so much like more elevated, so much cooler. I'm sure this is an expensive piece, but you can make one of these yourself. Let me know if you want one like this. This is not, doesn't have to be crochet. It can just be like the string and you beat it in like you make bracelets. Let me know if you would like a tutorial. We have another version of the doily tablecloth material, and in here I love it. Again, the same as the skirt, the mini skirt. Here in the long skirt, I think it looks good as well, especially because they added a bunch, so it doesn't feel like they got the tablecloth from a round table and put it on the person. It feels like they got a bunch of tablecloth and then drafted around it and made the design around them. That's not to say that I think that they got it from somewhere. I think they made this crochet, like doily lace crochet situation in, like, they probably made it with their artisans. It's a motif that follows the collection, and they made it so it's a skirt, and I like this a lot better than the other ones. This is my favorite from the circular doily crochets. I think this is beautiful. I would like one of these. Actually, from all of the looks that I've seen in this collection, the shirt with the ruffled lace and this skirt are my favorites, the ones that I would love to have in my personal wardrobe. And here again with the trims on the sleeves and on the body of the shirt. I don't particularly like the black and white. I just think it would have been better if the little trims were done in black, or maybe in the beige to match the skirt. That's just a me thing. And finally, we have the hat. It's a very big hat. It's very much for photos. I mean, she is wearing it over her head. I'm sure it can go back a little bit and not stay on the face, but with hats done like this in a crochet, they do droop a little bit, especially because this is such an open weave or an open crochet. So I'm sure it does fall like this, but I think it's beautiful. It's such like a sculptural piece to have. It doesn't protect you from the sun, but it looks pretty, and it will look really pretty on photos. So that's it for Diotima. Absolutely love it. Next, we have Staud. Now let's go for Staud. Staud? I'll have to blur her. I blurred it with my finger. I'll have to blur her nipples, but I think I only saved this for the hot pant. This is kind of like a chainmail material almost. It comes like this probably. They just cut it and make it in the shape. I think this is a knitted underwear, but I'll talk about it in the next one. I don't have anything against naked women. It's just the YouTube, I don't think they like it. So in that one, in the last one that I saw, it looked a lot like it's a pre-made mesh. They just cut it in the shape of this top. When you look into the white one, it almost looks like this is actually a crochet mesh dress, which would be very expensive to make. Can you see it? It looks like it's the kind of yarn that has sequin on it. Maybe this is a crochet piece with a thin yarn that has glitter on it, but I don't think that's the case. It could be when I'm looking at it. And now the underwear. So this is a knitted hot pant, and it looks ill-fitting. There is a big problem with knitting hot pants. The way that I'm saying, so the thing is, I'm looking at it and I see this. I made this, and for me, they look exactly the same. This one's just a little lower raised. So I feel like it could be something that is done in a machine just like mine, but with a thinner yarn, because mine is like medium yarn. This one would be for a thinner yarn. These are not nice. Hot pants, and I'm a knitter. I like knitting, and I do knit hot pants. They are very ill-fitting. Like, this yarn does not look like the kind of yarn that stretches. It's not that body hugging, because the way that it sits in her body is not really hugging her body like a hot pant should. There's something about this that, like, the fact that I made this and it's hard to wear, I don't know what it is, but I don't like these hot pants that are knitted in this style. I think hot pants need to be lycra, but maybe not, because I do have this and I wear it sometimes. It's just hard to wear. Maybe it's just a hot pant thing. Maybe I just have something against hot pants. I don't have the confidence to wear them, and therefore I don't like them. I don't know what it is. So this is fun. This is crochet. You can do this. It feels like it will be a little bit heavy, but because there's so much cutouts, I think it would be fine. These are just like shapes. Like, this is a little like a little spiral. You just do like a magic circle and you go around from there, and then you can make like a little star like this. You know, these are separate shapes that were done, and this is crochet, this is hand done, and it will have taken a while, and I think it looks really nice. I think this is nice, it's doable. Inspiration, I think I would like to do this in a white because I don't like wearing black too much. And she has a beanie, and I think it's crocheted, and I don't love it too much just because I think it's too bulky. I think it's really big. Maybe it's good for, because it's not the kind of I don't have braids, it's not my hairstyle. Maybe people with like bigger, fuller hair, this would be a nice beanie because it covers, like, it's bigger to like cover up. Now, this is a Pinterest DIY project, and I have nothing against it. I want to do it myself, but there is a photo in Pinterest of a look just like this one. It might even be like an old school, like old crochet catalog magazine kind of look. There was a girl making this on TikTok. This will take a little while just because they're individual flowers I have to do. I don't know if this, it should be lined. It is lined. It is lined. There is a brown lining. So she made the bikini and then she stitched the flowers to the bikini. So I think the flowers are hand stitched to each other, and then they are put on top of the bikini lining thing. The top almost looks like it's not lined. I don't think the top is lined, which is scary. And I don't know if this is bikini yarn. This should be bikini yarn because this is a bikini thing. It's not hard. It's time consuming. And I think this is a fun project. It reminds me, there is someone on YouTube who just did it. Okay, this one is not lined. I like this. Jenna Pips just did a massive dress, and she got all her subscribers to send her flowers. So I think this is really fun. I know obviously most people don't have a lot of subscribers who will send them crochet flowers, but I think it's a nice thing to maybe, I don't know, do with some crochet friends, and like everyone does a few flowers and then you make a bikini and then you, I don't know, take turns wearing it. I don't know, but this can be a collaborative effort. These ones, I don't know, they look very jaggedy. I think someone should have ironed them individually before making them. And this one, it doesn't have a lining, and I think this is nice. Like, it's just crochet, so they did the flowers, they set them up, they did a very nice job. I think this is not my favorite color combo. In my opinion, I would make in a different color combo, but I think it looks nice. There are people who would like this color combo, and they just set it and then they stitch it. I don't know how this would fit. It's very, very short. It is a bitch cover up, but I don't know. You have to have a very specific kind of body. You have to have wide hips and a little bit of a smaller waist to like hold in your body. Even if it's a beach cover up, I would do a waistband with a string to pull it and make it hold in my body a little bit better. I think this is nice. As I said, I think the same thing that I said with Anna's Sweet. This is very much DIY culture brought into the runway, and this is probably a bit expensive, which it should be because it's a lot of time and effort. I hope that their artisans are well paid. They have to make a few because they're selling it. So they need a lot of flowers. I hope that the people doing this is handmade. There's no way a machine can do this. This is handmade. So a lot of people have to be doing this individually. Okay, so looking at this hot pant, maybe that one, it's not knitted like the one that I did. It's not a knit machine, domestic knitting machine. It is a fabric that they bought. And this is a nice knitted top with a fuzzy yarn. You can hand knit this. It will take you ages if you hand knit it just like this, because this is a minuscule stitch size. But if you have a knitting machine, this is a very nice one-day project. Next, we have Michael Kors. I saw someone on TikTok review this and call this like mall fashion, which I guess this is crochet, not too thin of a yarn. So for me, it looks kind of bulky. It looks like there's not too much movement because, you know, the thicker the yarn, the thicker the fabric is going to be that you create with crochet. And it's probably a bit heavy for spring, summer. It will look nice. I think it looks nice. It looks decent. It looks like something that is well made. Okay, so this is fun if you're wearing this as a pajama. This is a nice knitted matching set with a matching cardigan. See, the thing is, when I zoom in, you see that there's like a missing stitch, not missing stitch, but like a stitch that is bulky. I don't know what happened to this stitch here. There's just some imperfections that make me think that this was either handmade or made in a machine, like a domestic machine. But Michael Kors is very much like, it is high end, but it's like they make a lot of clothing, right? So I don't know. Can you see, like, there's this stitch here, and these kind of sort of like not fully missed loops, but sort of missed loops are, for me, they feel like something that would happen in my machine. But again, I have never worked with like industrial knitting machines, because I don't know, I always, when I think industrial machine, I always think thin yarn, and this is a very chunky yarn, and this is definitely something that you can knit at yourself. I actually have always wanted to do something like this, but in a longer shorts. I think this is really nice, cozy, comfy for you to wear at home. I think you can go out like this, but I don't know. I need a new cardigan, and this is inspiring me. I need to knit a new cardigan, because my like go-to beige cardigan is ripped. Okay, very, very chunky, very, very drop shoulder. By the way, when I say, oh, that's a missed stitch, I have nothing against hand knitting. I think that's the most like glorious, best way of knitting, like when you make it all yourself. It's just something that it can happen more often when you're hand knitting than when a machine does it. See, like, this is something that you can do, but this is probably a machine made, industrial machine. See how it looks like crochet. This to me is a crochet. This is like a gigantic like granny square, but not going around, just going on top. It's like 3 doubles and then a chain, and then you do double chain, double chain, double chain, double chain, double chain, and then you go up, and then you do the 3 double crochets in the chain, and then you do a chain, and then you do the 3 double crochets in the chain, and then you do a chain, and you do that all the way up. I think this is beautiful. This is crochet, I think, but something about it is like, is there a way that this can be done by a machine? It's just because, like, I don't doubt that there are people who can do this. I think I could do it if I gave myself the time to do it. It's just that Michael Kors does make a fair amount of clothing, right? And like, does he have a team of artisans? Because this is handmade, this is artisanal stuff. I feel like if you're not a crocheter, this just looks like a simple little dress. If you're a crocheter or a fiber artist and you look and you zoom in the stitches, you're like, oh my god, like, to make this would take so long. If this is hand done, hand crocheted, it doesn't become as simple as it once was. Like, if you buy a fabric like this and you make it, sure, it's a simple dress, a little bit of a circle skirt, nice round neckline, a little bit of a bell sleeve, nice. But if you hand make this, if you hand stitch this, it becomes something else. It's a lot nicer, it's a lot daintier, it's a lot more, it's like precious and, you know, yum. I have been speaking for so long, so I'm going to skip this, but download the Vogue Runway app and do scroll through the Parsons MFA, I think it's Masters in Fashion Design. They have some amazing stuff. Not all of it is knit, but they have some real fun knit. They look really good. This is the kind of like very nice, very time consuming knit that can be done in a knitting machine or in a by hand even. Like, this is crochet. This is all hand crocheted by whoever artist this is. Like, isn't this insane? Like, this is so cool. And it's like, you will only see this kinds of like amazing structural playing with the yarn and the fabric manipulation in university shows, because that's when you kind of have the time, like, ability to really explore with like a platform to do that. Because after that, people go into the market, and most people, even though this is insane and amazing looking, most people don't really want to buy this, and this should be very expensive to sell because it's so well and so intricate. It's like so well done and so intricate. So I really love going to the Parsons MFA page on the Vogue Runway app and looking at the stuff. See, like, this is like an intarsia with this like very fluffy, I don't know if it's like, it's a mixture of fabric, I don't know, but this is so cool, and you don't get to see that often because it's just like unpractical. It's not really marketable, so I think it's nice. This brand Zankov has some nice looking stuff, but they took some blurry photos. So if you're making a fashion line and you're sponsoring yourself in the Vogue Runway app, stop taking blurry photos, because there are so many brands that take like photos of people walking and post it on the Vogue Runway app. Like, I want to see the clothes. I don't want to see people walking. Like, can you see this is nice? This is, I don't know what it is. It gives me crochet vibes, but I don't think this is crochet. I think there's a specific term to this technique because of the amount of floaties. It almost feels like a macrame style of dress. It doesn't look like knit to me. And I think, I don't know, I think this is handmade and it's beautiful. Now let's talk about Gabriela. I really like Gabriela Hearst. I'm a fan. I really like her brand. My dream is to work for her. I think she used to work for Stella McCartney, and therefore she has a lot of knit influence in her stuff. So let's start with this big full body piece of fabric. I like when there are pieces like this because I love looking at textiles. Like, this is a work of art in textiles and you can wear it. But when I dress myself, I don't love this because it's too big, it's too bulky. I like to show my body a little bit more in the styling and in like the clothing. There are people who love this kind of style. I don't know if this is like she bought a bunch of like open weave fabrics and just like stitched them together in a patchwork style, but I think that this is woven. Her and her team probably wove these individual pieces of fabric. I think this was created in like a manual weaving block, and then she patchworked it together like with different kinds of weaving in, and then I think she put like a bias tape around each individual piece of fabric that they created, and then she made this big poncho. It's not a poncho, like this big piece of wearable fabric, and then she lined the bottom with the same bias tape. I think this is what it is. This is nice. This is crochet, and this was done sideways. So usually when we make a garment, we either do start in the bottom, knit your way up, or start in the neckline, knit your way down. But this is sideways. They make this huge piece of fabric sideways and they wear it like this. Oh, it's probably, I cannot see the back. It's probably just a hole. Maybe they like crochet like a gigantic piece that goes from like feet up to the other feet, and then they just go like sideways. They do a hole for the head, and then they continue almost like I do these tops. These are my sleeves. I have a 3-part tutorial on how to do these sleeves, but almost like these, but the other way around. And I think this is nice. It's it almost feels like a stitch sample garment. You know, when you try, you're learning how to crochet, and then you do different stitches in different colors, and then you just make something out of it. This is nice. I don't know. Actually, I think this is a mesh fabric that was probably, I don't know. The mesh was probably pre-made. It's probably not handmade, although it could be like a crocheted mesh. I don't think it is. And then they hand stitched the leather cowl things. I would just assume, just by kind of like the vibe of Gabriela Hearst, that these pieces of like cowl, of like leather, are probably leather, and they're probably discarded leather from the industry. I don't know that, I'm just saying. But the way that it's just little pieces, it's the kind of piece that like industrial waste, like cutting waste of leather, that she just kind of cut it in like cowl spot shape, and then they stitch this. It is hand stitched to the garment, and I love this kind of stitch. I forget the name of the stitch, but it's a specific kind of stitch that it is used a lot in patchwork, I think. It's so lovely. I think it's such a cute little, and I have a photo focusing on the bag, which I think is really nice. It is almost the same thing as the dress, but it is a lot thicker. So this is a cord. They probably bought the cord and weaved it in almost like a macrame, and then they do and put the cow print. Now we have, this is a knit. I think the yarn comes with the beads. To knit in the machine, a yarn that comes with knits, it's just, I think, a no-no. Maybe this is hand knitted. I don't know. But it is a knit, and it's a fun knit with a lot of mini beads. I think it's a bead. Maybe it's just not a bead. Maybe it's just like a little fiber, pieces of fibers. So it would be fine in the machine. I think it's a bead. I don't think they hand bead this. If they hand beaded this, that's insane. I don't think it's hand beaded. It's too small. It's too small. Like, this is, I feel like it's the same kind of yarn that they used in the other dress, but this feels very much crochet, very much hand crocheted with a tiny, tiny hook. And there are mini beads. I don't know if the beads were attached to the knit, because you can, when you do crochet, you can do crochet with beads. You can just like put the beads in. But this is such a tiny crochet, such tiny beads that, oh my god, if this is handmade, this is insane. Can you see, like, in the cuff, this looks so much like hand crocheted, but I just don't think there must be, like, because it's a mesh, I think it can really easily, probably can be just like manufactured. I don't know if they're beads or not, but if they are not beads, if they're like specks of like yarn, so the yarn in itself, it comes with like little spurts of fiber that just are in the yarn. If that is the case, this can be easily knitted in a knitting machine, and it is simple. It's actually quite fast because the knitting machine knits straight really fast. So it's kind of a simple design. Like, the way that the collar is made really does give me domestic knitting machine vibe. But the thing about the little dots, I do not know if they're beads, because if they're beads, you can do beads as well in the knitting machine, but it's just so time consuming and they're so small. I think it's probably a feature of the yarn, but I don't know. And she's wearing some knitted hot pants, which apparently are in style. So you can, if you want a hot pant tutorial for the knitting machine or for crochet, I will crochet it, but I will not hand knit it. Let me know, because apparently it will be in style. I don't know who's gonna wear this to wear, but you can, and I can teach you. And this is a nice macrame bag. Same thing here. They look so much like beads. I'm mad. I want to touch this. You see how they're drooping? They look like beads. I really want to know if they're beads, because this looks also hand crochet. The way that they fall here, also in the neckline, feels like a crocheted mesh. See the way that it falls here? It is like they open the pattern, so the pattern is going very straight because she's like a skinny girl, like, and then it kind of opens to make the skirt, and this has to be kind of, so yeah, either I'm frustrated because I want to know if they hand crochet this with the tiniest hook, and if these are beads that they attach to it, or if it comes with the yarn. These shoulder seams are so good. I don't know, but if this is handmade, this is insane. It's probably $1 bajillion. Our girl Maria McManus, I don't know who she is, but she has a nice crochet knitted, it's a knit dress, but it's a nice inspo, nice little summer dress cover up. This yarn is quite chunky. It wouldn't go on my machine, but I think it would go on some other machines, like a chunky yarn machine. And this is the kind of fabric yarn that I was talking about. It's a yarn that comes with the sequins. So like, this is sequins, but I know that this yarn has sequins already applied to it. Let me show you. So can you see? No, but there are little sequins on it. So the yarn already comes with the sequins, right? It has it. But sequins are really tiny and like very thin. So this exists, right? And this dress here is probably done with a yarn that is like that. With Gabriela's collection, it looked like beads, and I don't think beads can be applied to yarn like this, like sequins can. I just don't think that is a thing. That's why I was so bamboozled, because if those beads were like hand beaded, and if that is crochet, handmade crochet, and the beads were hand done, oh my god. But if it's like a feature of the yarn, that's a little bit more, even if it's crocheted, it's still wow, but it makes it a bit more believable. Okay, now we have a whole collection from our girl Lauren Manoogian, and I'm just going to run through it. It's a nice white collection. I think a lot of her fiber arts is handmade. She has this bag. It seems like an easy bag to do. Very versatile. It's almost like a tote bag, but with a smaller handle. Very big. I think it's good. Looks like crochet. And then she has this hand knit, it feels like, or maybe chunky yarn machine knit. A piece of knit with a hole in the middle, so it's like a poncho. I don't know, it's nice for layering. I have to learn how to layer to justify things like this, because I wouldn't buy this, I wouldn't make this, but I think it's so worth it for people who are good in layering. I think this looks hand knit to me. It's knit in a funky way too, though. It's knit diagonally, so I think this is interesting. Can you see, like, there is no seam, there is no shoulder seam. It is well fit. I think it is a proper sleeve, because maybe she could just be like shushing in here, but I think it's an actual sleeve. It doesn't look like a top down. Maybe it's a top down. I'm just not that well versed in hand knitting, but the way that it's diagonal like this, and then it does like this, and then the sleeve, the knit is like this in another direction. I think this is so cool. I mean, it's cool if you're a knitter and you look at it and zoom in, but if you're just like not into knitting, this is just a oversized knit. Okay, this is nice. It looks to me like a store-bought fabric, and then she has a cardigan version of that top. So looking at this, it feels like the skirt is a manufactured leotard body. Suit thing is just a ribbed knit that you go in the store and buy and make, but the cardigan feels hand crocheted. I could be wrong. Now this one almost looks like a handmade version of that fabric that we just looked. So we looked at the other design. It was a store-bought fabric. This feels like a mixture of hand knit and crochet. By that I just mean that she probably did the hem in knit, and then she crocheted the body of this sweater, and then she went back to knitting for the hem as well. It could be machine knit, maybe a chunky yarn machine for the hem, just because it rolls so well, but hand knits also roll. So, and yeah, I think this is hand crocheted. And then the skirt, so oh, okay, so she's wearing the same skirt. Good. Can you tell the difference? The skirt to me looks like it's manufactured, the manufactured fabric that she bought a lot of and made a bunch of skirts. The top, like the sweater, looks hand crocheted. Bag, same bag that we saw a little while ago. I think it's hand crocheted. This is a nice cream version, 2 bags. I don't think they're together. I think they're separate. Small version, big version. So you can see that you can get jumbo version of the bag, and you can get the small one. I kind of want to make this. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can figure this out. I want to make it. It looks like such a nice bag to have. And this is a hat. I think the hat's crochet, but I could be wrong. I think it's crochet. I would need so much calculation to do that hat. I have such a hard time with hats. I tried doing a hat once, but hats are hard. I think hand crocheted dress could be wrong, but it feels like crochet. Well, feels like hand crochet. Hand crochet. I think this is the same. We just looked at the white version of this, but the cardigan that she has on top, she has an extra piece here. I think this is machine knitted. The fabric is manufactured. The skirt fabric is manufactured, machine. The chunky sweater, hand crocheted, and the cardigan is industrially knitted. The cardigan is not. It is not hand knit, I don't think. And also, this skirt that she has in all of her looks, you can make something very similar, and the patterning is very basic. It's just like straight skirt. This looks to me like it's hand crocheted, and I think it looks really nice. And I also know that it takes a lot of time to make. Everyone needs basics, and I want to crochet a basic top. But at the same time, it's like, if I'm looking at crochet, I want it to be fun. And now she has the chrome, and this I think is hand knitted. I'm pretty sure, and it looks like a patchwork. So maybe, can you see like these patches here? I think the top is probably fully knit, because can you see that it changes the way, like there's like knits and the pearls. The pearls, they don't follow the same line as the knits. So I'm assuming that these are patchworked. So she made the sweater in the gray, light gray, and then she patchworked the darker grays to the top, you know, over knitting. I don't think they were made on one go. Same thing here. Nice. I think it looks cool. I think it gives a texture. I like it. This is the same fabric we've been talking about a lot. She has it in gray. Yay. These are kind of, I like looking at them because they're like very fiber artsy, very simple, but I think there is a need for that. This is like very commercial. Most people are more into this than just like very over the top, cookie crazy stuff. Tory Burch has some nice knits. This is industrial fabric, but it's nice. I think it's nice that they put the wire, I think, to make these like shapes. It looks like this. I think it's nice. It brings like a lot of texture, but without having to go out of your way to like mechanically think about the ways that you're wrapping yarn. I think it's nice. A nice way to manipulate knits. And we have a lighter version so that you can see better. See, like it's they have this. As I said, never worked with industrial knitting. As you can see, like the ribs are in different sizes, different textures, not texture, but different stitches, different amount of stitches in the ribs. So it changes. That's nice. It brings some interest for, you know, the fabric overall. And then they put some wire or something here in the hem. And I think this is nice. How would you move? I don't know. It's cool to look at. You don't have to be functional. If you have to be a statue that just walks around and looks at things and maybe just talks to people, this could be cool. But you cannot drive a car. You cannot. Maybe there is a hole here where you can slip your arm through. In both models, they don't have arm movement at all. I don't know what this is. No idea, but it's fun. What is this texture? Is it knit? Is it crochet? Is it like a yarn? Because can you see like the weaving beads? It does not look like crochet. It does not look like knit. The fabric came like, did the fabric come? How was this fabric done? Don't know. If you do, tell me. But I think it's fun, so I just brought it. Altuzarra. This is fun. So I was talking about yarn. This is a nice, there is a term for this yarn, I forget. But it has this like felted bits that kind of jump out. But the yarn is like this. The yarn just comes with this yellow chicken bit. This is a very open weave. You can make this on the domestic knitting machine. You can also do this by hand, but it would take you a long time. And also there are so many like skipped stitches. I don't love that when like the knit is so uneven. I think this is machine knit, like domestic machine knit. If someone told me that this is hand knit with a chunky needle and like this very thin yarn, I wouldn't be that surprised. It is time consuming, but not that much because it's a very, very thin yarn with a very, very chunky needle. So it can be done by hand. I wouldn't think it is. Oh, I was going to say, this is scary. This is going to snap. Like, how can you trust a long dress, full body size in this string? It's a string. Like, this is going to fall apart so fast, and this annoys me because even if it's machine knit, it is artisanal. Why would you waste someone's time knitting this and not do like a sturdy strap to hold it in? Like, it's, even though it's a thin yarn, it's probably not the heaviest piece, but it's still a full body piece. It has to last. Like, you're going to make this, it's going to snap in a little while. I like the dress, I like the textures, I like what was done. I don't know what happened here. This is cool. Like, can you see like the way that it made stripes? I don't think this was planned. Maybe it was. Look how it made stripes here. Cool. Black version, a little less, you know, intense. I don't like the way that these straps looked combined to each other. I think maybe they should have done long sleeve. The brown is fine. Maybe long sleeve or full neck. I don't like the juxtaposition of these two styles of strap as layering pieces. It's not especially because like the knitted top has a square neckline, the other one has a V. I don't like this styling. And again, the teeny tiny one layer of, or like maybe 3 layers of insanely thin yarn to hold up the whole dress is insane. We don't like that. We don't like that. Oh, okay, so this was the same thing. I don't know why in the yellow it looked less horrible. The yellow with the black. Now that I look at it, I don't love it. I don't. Maybe you should have done the black in the same kind of neckline, or maybe a higher neckline. Maybe it's just my aesthetic. This is not something that I love. Little brooch. I wonder when I take off this, is the brooch in the knit or is the brooch in the underlayer? Will it rip the dress? Because it might. If it is in the underlayer, it might just rip. For Rachel Comey. So Rachel has some nice knit. Don't know if this is hand knit. There's so many details. It almost feels like I've just recently learned about this technique called planned pooling. So you know when you buy a yarn that is already colored, they have a pattern to the colors. The colorway just repeats itself. And usually you can, there's even a website for this. You can go and you can just like plan the knit or the crochet, so you don't have to change colors. The yarn has the colors already pre-established, and these motifs, they kind of feel like motifs that could be done with planned pooling in knits. I think if it's not that, maybe it's just like a fabric that is industrially done. It's a knit, so knits can be industrially manufactured, but I don't know. It's nice to think that maybe it is hand knit with a planned pooling work done into it. I just recently learned about planned pooling. It would have been nice if it's like in the fashion week right after I learned about it. That would be really cool. And it's a 2-piece also, by the way. This crochet piece, this one is a colored yarn, and they just did a nice little crochet top. I don't know the name of this stitch, but there is a name for this stitch specific. And then the cuffs for the armholes and the collar is either knit or that crochet that looks like knit, but it looks knitted. The house of Rachel Comey could have dyed the yarn randomly, so the top looks like this, but maybe they just bought the yarn like this. I don't know. And then we have some beads. I like beaded stuff. So this is an example of actual beaded crochet. So this is a crochet and it's been beaded. The way that I look at it, and also the bag. Oh, I hadn't seen the bag. The bag is done in the same way that the top is done. Different stitches. I don't know all of the crochet stitches, but the way that you put beads in a crochet top, you put all of your beads, so you have to calculate the amount of beads or just put more than you need in the yarn before, and then you crochet normally, and whenever you want the bead in the piece that you're doing, you just pull the bead to your crochet, and then you crochet like normal but with the bead there, and it just stays there because you just did a knot after it. I kind of wanted, for this one, I'm putting a lot like random beads in it, and I'm just kind of, just to see how it's going to look, and I'm putting it in different sizes as well, but you have to like take into consideration the size of your yarn and the size of the bead that you're putting in. So her beads are compatible with her yarn size, and she's doing a very small stitch, so they look like they're very close together. In my little sample, I did double crochets and I just kind of randomly put the beads in. So you can see like they just stay in. You have to take into consideration also like when I skipped, you can pull the beads, like for example, the beads are all in the same size, because as I skipped the stitches, they just kind of stayed in the same size, but you can always like pull them to the other side. I did all of the beads in the same size, but if you're doing it all in like every single row, they would naturally go one bead to each side, but I just pull them like I just did, all to the same side. I think this is cute. I think this is a nice way to like spice up crochet that I mean, it takes a little bit longer. It's not that much more time consuming. This is really well planned. Like she knew like she wanted to do diagonal stripes, so she just put the beads in exactly where she needed them. I think it looks really nice. It gives a nice texture. I thought I would like to mention just that Palomo Spain did a collection and it was like the best one in New York. They didn't have knits, so I'm not bringing it here. If you're into fashion and you want to see a nice pretty collection, maybe look into the Palomo Spain collection because I think it was really nice. It had a lot of ruffles, a lot of lace. Quick, I just end this by talking about these Brandon Maxwell knits. So this is a just chunky knit. It is probably industrially made. This, I thought it was really funny. What is this? It is probably industrially knit. It is a rib. But what the fuck is happening? Here, it has a hole in the armpit. She is wearing it. She is wearing this top and her arms are coming out of the armpit and the sleeves are tied in the front. So if you're to wear this sweater as a sweater, you're going to have some armpit holes. You're just going to raise your arms and just like armpit. Who wants that? I don't like armpits. So this is not something that I want. It's fun. It's fun. Like maybe like someone who's like very warm in their arms and they just like the classy look of having, you know, a sweater tied around their shoulders. This is interesting. Maybe I want to wear it. Maybe this is the next big thing in fashion. And I'm looking, maybe I wanted to see if this one has the armpit hole so I can see it being worn with the armpit holes, but like not functional. But I don't think this one has the armpit holes. So we're finishing with a turtleneck black top and a non-knit but a fun little scrap material design. These are probably jeans and leather pieces. It has to be a thick material and they just punched holes to the four corners of all of them and they cut them all in pretty much the same size and then they joined them all with jump hoops, like rings, jump rings, that's how they're called. I think these took a while to make and I like acknowledging pieces of garment that take way too long to be done. So this is it. I hope you liked this video. Let me know which one was your favorite look and which one you didn't like so much and why. Comment if there are any brands that you know from New York and New York Fashion Week that I didn't cover here. Let me know as well. I do really want to make videos on London, Milan, and Paris Fashion Week. They have happened so long ago now. I still want to talk about it, especially because they're all spring, summer, so the trends themselves are for the future. Just to let you know, I don't think I mentioned this, I do have a utopic goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you're still here, consider subscribing, liking the video, and I'll have my social media on screen. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye.